Hi, I'm Jessica, and I used to think that romance books were guilty pleasures that I shouldn't talk about with anybody except people that were interested in them, until I realized that they teach me more about character development than half the craft books I have ever read. So today I want to share some of the romance books that have shaped how I approach storytelling and specifically writing romance stories. And this is The Blueprint. This is the first one that I want to mention, and this is one of my two favorite books in the whole wide world. And what I read from this book, Pride and Prejudice by Miss Jane Austen, published in 18 something, I don't remember exactly the date, but what I learned from this book is that love and romance is not about the fireworks, it's about the tension between the characters. So watching Darcy and Elizabeth is like watching the grass grow, watching tectonic plates move 1 millimeter at a time, and it's absolutely slow but unstoppable. So one of the things that I learned about this book is that Darcy doesn't change because Elizabeth demands it of him. He changes because when confronted with her rejection, he realizes that he needs to work on himself and he needs to improve himself in order to earn what he's asking of her. So that is one of the things that I've learned from this book, that love is tension, but it's also accountability. And it's not just, it doesn't just magically happen, it needs work. The second book that I want to mention is called Something Borrowed by Emily Giffin. And it's a messy story, it's messy. So there are these two girls, they are best friends, and one of them sleeps with the other one's fiancé. So it's messy in that way, but it's also very human, I think. And you are reading the book and you're wondering if Rachel, who is the one that slept with the friend's fiancé, if you can actually root for her. Should you root for her? But at the end of the day, I think that what I learned from this book, which I don't particularly like, mind you, but what I learned from this book is that you can write conflict and you can write people that make terrible choices, but they still deserve growth and they still deserve love. So I think that that's what I take from this book. Read it and then tell me what you think. I'm not sure that I love it. It's stuck in my mind for a reason. But yeah, I mean, would you root for a cheater? I don't know. The next one, Neanderthal 6 Human by Penny Reid. This one is hilarious, and I promise that if you read it, you will love it. I think that this is probably the first book about women in STEM that I have ever read. And the protagonist, Janie, she is hilarious, she's quirky, she overshares, she is smart and she's witty. And one of the things about this book is that it treats those things like her oversharing, her smart, she's neurodivergent as well. And it treats those as strengths, not weaknesses for her. And the thing that I take from this book, and I think that maybe Ali Hazelwood read this at some point, but the thing that I take from this book is that you don't have to dumb down your heroines. You can make them smart, bright, like genius level even. And it will improve your story. So I don't apologize for having a very smart, ridiculously smart protagonist anymore. I just lean into it like she did. So if you ever watched a movie called The Cutting Edge about a hockey player and a figure skater that they are forced to work together and they win the Olympics, I think it is. I don't remember what it was, but that movie is why I'm so obsessed with this book. From Lukov with Love, from Mariana Zapata. Oh my god, I love this book so much. much. I love it so much. And what I take from this book, well, if you have read it, you know, but there's the protagonists are Jasmine and Ivan, and they are figure skaters, and they are total opposites. And the book doesn't give you that instant chemistry. It's not like insta love. This is love through companionship, through friendship, discipline, and it's the slowest burn, and I love it so much. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm obsessed with this book. So yeah, what I take from this is that when I write attraction, I write it through love and time and respect, and not just the looks, because yeah, I think that adds depth and more humanity to my characters. But read this book, read it, it's fantastic, I love it. The next one is actually one that became very famous because Shonda Rhimes turned it into one of her seasons in the series. It's part of the Bridgerton series, and it's Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. And I love this. I actually like the book much better than the Netflix season, because Penelope has been invisible her whole life, and well, she's kind of ruling society from the shadows if you read into it like that, because Lady Whistledown, her secret persona, is she knows everything. So she's kind of this puppeteer behind the scenes, and whatever she says influences society so much. But Penelope herself, she's such a wallflower. And what I love about this book is that when Colin realizes, the main male character, when he realizes who she is, and that she's been there, right there all along, he just loves her more for it. And I think that that's why I prefer the book version than the TV series. It's because it shows him in a supportive way and in a light that I don't think that the show did it justice. But what I learned from this book is that the core of romance is being seen by the other person, not fixed, not idealized, just seen and accepted for what you are. And I think that's what a lot of us are looking for in our real lives, isn't it? So I think that that's why I love this book so much, because when Colin sees Penelope, finally sees her for what she is, who she is, he doesn't try to change her. So that's what I chase with my stories, not people trying to change the other one to fit them, but people learning to compromise and learning to be with the other in an honest way that recognizes each other. Plus the dialogue in this book, chef's kiss. The last one is technically not a romance book, it's a historical thriller, and it's called The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. And it's, like I said, a thriller, a historical thriller, but it's one of the most romantic books I have ever read. It's all letters and libraries and secrets, and it's the kind of story where people fall in love with curiosity itself. What I learned from this book is that you can find intimacy in intellect, and you can find connection through research and shared pursuits. And I think that that's true for many of us in real life, right? Because when you fall in love or when you find your partner, yeah, maybe you're attracted to their looks at first, but what you build a relationship on is on the things that you have in common. So for this book, the characters, they share this obsession that is driving them through the story, and I think that is what I take from this. I think that I try to use that element in my own storytelling, where my characters have a shared purpose and they are both trying to reach that goal, that shared goal, and it's two people against the impossible. So I think that that's what I take from this book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. But yeah, that's what the historian does. It makes love feel fragile and eternal at the same time. I love it. Highly recommend. So yeah, that's it. Those are the 6 books that have shaped how I write romance stories. Jane Austen gave me tension and growth. Rachel Giffin gave me moral mess and dilemmas. Penny Reid gave me wit, gave me awkwardness, gave me brilliance. Mariana Zapata gave me tension and slow burn. So slow burn, but lovely. And teamwork. Julia Quinn gave me vulnerability and visibility and tenderness. And Elizabeth Kostova gave me intellect as intimacy. And I think that those are the foundations of how I write my stories. And if you read any of these books, share it in the comments, or tell me what your favorite romance books are and which ones have influenced the way that you approach storytelling. And until next time, subscribe, leave me a comment, and have a great day.